Hey there. Welcome to Discover the Divine You. My name is Kimberly Nicole. Right now I'm on a journey to figure out who the real Kimberly Nicole is, who I was divinely created to be. So I created this podcast in hopes others could benefit from what I'm learning and the different ways I'm connecting with a higher power. I created this space for honest conversations about healing, creativity, spiritual growth, and learning to reconnect with myself while living presently in my life. I'm a mom of 3. I have a job. I'm in 12-step recovery. Real life happens every day. So this is a space of no pressure, no expectations, no perfection, just progress. A journey towards finding peace, clarity, and connection to something bigger than ourselves, going from chaos to calm. So here we go. I'm so glad you're here to take this journey with me. Let's get creative. Episode 25, I Got Dumped. Hello, and welcome back to Discover the Divine You. I am Kimberly Nicole. And this episode, my glasses are filthy. This episode, we are going to talk about sponsorship. And I know a lot of you aren't in program, and that's okay. You don't have to be in program to listen to this podcast because there's lots of gems that are for everyday life that don't have to do with program. But if you are in program, you know what a sponsor is, or you've probably heard it before. I mean, there's lots of different versions of sponsors. Like you could donate money as a sponsorship for things. You could sponsor someone for a sports team. You can do sponsorships for events. There's lots of different ways that I've heard the word sponsor. But in the 12 steps, a sponsor is basically your guide, someone that helps you through the 12 steps for your first time and gets you on track to work your 12 steps and just kind of guides you through them. And then once you're through the steps, you start to sponsor people. And it's the way we, give back, which is really cool because I think a lot of people feel like sponsoring is like, say I'm a sponsor and what I'm doing for my sponsee is for them, but it's not. It's for me. It keeps me in the steps. It keeps me working and getting outside of myself, which keeps me clean and healthy and sober and all the things. So when you're sponsoring someone, you're being of service not only to them, but to you. But for me, what I've learned is it's really important to establish early that I am not their higher power and that what I say is not like the end all be all. It's just my experience, strength, and hope. I don't have the answers to all the questions, and I don't know everything about program or recovery. And a lot like our relationships with our higher powers, they're all very individual. Everyone's recovery process is very individual, especially when it comes to all the various programs. Like the way you sponsor is different in each program. And I'm in 3 different programs, but I only sponsor in one program because I'm still working through the steps for my first time in other programs, or I just don't feel like I have enough time in my day to be a sponsor in every single program. So it's very individual. You have to do what's best for you and talk to your higher power about that. And one of the biggest blessings that my first sponsor gave me was she basically was like, look, we're going to do the work. Like our hair is on fire. We're going to get this done. We're going to be honest. And then you're going to start sponsoring. You're going to get on a 10-step, doing one daily. And I believe that has saved my life and kept me in the steps, and kept me in the programs that I'm in, and really honestly allowed me to live my best life, because 10th steps are basically steps 1 through 10, and step 11 and 12 are more about like meditation and inspiration and giving service. And we talked about service yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, no, a couple days ago. And so being of service is really important. And there's a lot of different ways to work step 12, which is essentially the step of service. And but being a sponsor is one of the main ones. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to be a sponsor. Don't be scared. Like, you can't F it up. If you're doing your best to recover for yourself, and then you're bringing what you've learned to someone else, that's all you need to do. You're not like in charge of their recovery. If they, fall back into bad habits or ghost you or whatever, it has nothing to do with you. It's between them and their higher power. I've seen so many people in a repeat of like steps 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back 1, 2, 3, 4, because step 4 and 5 are heavier steps. And some people just aren't ready, and it's not their time to fully make it through the steps. That's between them and their higher power. But I have realized that the people who make it all the way through the steps and get into sponsoring other people are the ones who have a very strong relationship with their higher power. They're open-minded and they're curious, and they realize that they're not the higher power. There are some sponsors out there that might not be the right voice for you, and that's okay. They don't have to stay with you forever. I was kind of dumped by my first sponsor, and that's okay. I had no hard feelings because she was helping lots of other people, and I needed to hear a different voice. So I work my steps every year with a different sponsor on purpose, because I learned so much, because everyone has such a different perspective. So there's no one right way to sponsor or be sponsored. It's very individual. And I have like kind of like worksheets that I do with my sponsees that go along with different ways to work the 12 steps that are a collaboration of all the things I've learned that have helped me. And they're just suggestions. Like, hey, these things helped me. If you're interested, check them out. If you're not, that's cool too. I'm okay with whatever you need to do. So, in being a sponsor, it's important to remember that you're not the higher power, and for you to reiterate that to your sponsee. That, well, actually, that's telling you what to do. I don't want to tell you what to do. So for me, I just try to make it very clear when I sponsor someone that I am not their higher power. I am simply a guide, and I'm there to share my experience, strength, and hope to help them get to a place where they develop a relationship with their own higher power, and then that higher power gets them through the steps. I'm just a voice, a conduit, a guide, whatever you want to call it, a fellow, like we talked about before. Like, I talk about my fellows all the time. I talk to my fellows all the time. I do outreach calls, and I talk to some sponsees every day, some sponsees once a week, some sponsees whenever they need me. And I don't even pay attention to who recovered, who hasn't. I'm of service as often as I can. However God would have me be of service. So if you don't feel comfortable sponsoring, that's okay. But I know that in my experience, if I'm not doing something because I'm afraid, then that's proof that I need to do it. But if I'm not doing something because God's like, hey, I need to take a break, let's just step back, and I feel very calm and peaceful about it, then I don't stress. I know that it's not the right time or the right thing for me. But if I'm feeling a pull to do something, but I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to be terrible at it, then that's a cue that God's like, hey, try something new. You might like it. And I really enjoy sponsoring. I learned so much from my sponsor, but I learn even more from my sponsees. Like just hearing their experience, strength, and hope around certain things, and like how they overcame really tough stuff. Like, it blows my mind sometimes how spot on what they're saying is like an answer to my prayer. So my higher power doesn't only speak through quiet, like intuitive thoughts. He also speaks to me through my sponsees, through people in program, through song lyrics and music or movies and other stuff. Like, I hear my higher power in so many different places, but the most I hear my higher power is two-way prayer, listening in program meetings and with sponsees. And then when I'm sponsoring or sharing on a meeting, it's typically something that I needed to hear, not just something that God needed someone else to hear. So that's a very obvious thing that I've learned over the last couple of weeks is God speaks to me through other people all the time. And my heavenly sponsor used to say, oh, you're God with skin on for me. Because, we think of God as, an angel, right? Not someone with a body. Sometimes in program, we say, oh, you're God with skin on, which is like, hey, you're doing God's work. And that is an honor. I feel like when someone says that to you, that you are the answer to their prayers. And sometimes you're just being you. You're just sharing your experience, strength, and hope. And you're being an instrument in God's hands. Like, how cool is that? Like, all God wants you to do is be you. And through being you, you're blessing the lives of someone else. How awesome. And in blessing that person's life, you're teaching them something that they'll probably teach someone else and someone else and someone else. That's a ripple effect we're not going to probably see on this planet, but I think it's pretty epic and really rad that just being willing to be of service and be a sponsor opens us up to having these experiences that will then bless the lives of countless people that is pretty special, I think. And sponsoring doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. There's no rule book on it. It's between you and your higher power, how you're going to be of service to these other people that need to be sponsored. And prayer and two-way prayer and writing and just having a conversation really comes in handy. Those are tools of the program. Making outreach calls to other people who've already sponsored. Like, I talk to my sponsor all the time about sponsees that I'm struggling with. Like, hey, I don't know how to help them. Have you ever had someone that had this issue? And we still respect anonymity. Like, everybody's still anonymous, but I can make outreach calls and ask for help when I need it because I'm not a higher power and I don't know all the answers. But I know that if I'm doing the footwork, God's going to do the rest, and he'll put the answers out there for me to find as soon as I'm ready or the other person is ready. Because sometimes it's about being patient and recognizing that we're not the boss and the boss knows best. God knows best. He knows us inside and out and upside down and sideways. There's nothing we could say or do that God doesn't already know about us, and he loves us anyways. And the closer I am to him, the more I love myself, the more I'm able to serve others. And it's just a beautiful circle, a beautiful cycle of recovery, of healthy living, of happiness, freedom. I mean, sponsorship has brought me such a freedom and an opportunity to love not only myself, but the other people around me. And, you know, moms are sponsors. Like, we're God with skin on for our kids all the time. We can do that with coworkers. We can do that with family members. Really, in order to sponsor, all you have to do is be a great listener and not give unsolicited advice. And if someone asks you for your experience, strength, and hope, share it. Be brave enough to be vulnerable and share your experience, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow. And so that's my challenge for you guys today, is to listen and prayerfully ask how you can be of service to someone and what your definition of sponsoring is. And if you have to start with yourself, dude, start with yourself. Like I had to just love this baby girl until she learned to love herself, and just take it one step at a time, one day at a time. Invite God into everything, and it will all be used for your good. It will all work out for your good. And I am gonna paint something today because I can, and maybe I'll show it to you guys tomorrow or the next day. It's got to dry, so maybe in a couple days I'll show you it. But I would love to see anything creative that you're working on too. I think that is very inspirational to other people. And something that my son said to me, I'll just share this and then I'll let you guys go. When I was painting the other day, my son was like, "Mom, what did you paint?" And I was like, "Well, what did you see?" And he said, "Well, I see clouds and I see this and I see this." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," because I felt like I was painting a wave or the ocean with big waves. And I said, "You know what the cool thing about being creative is that even if you have something specific in your mind that you're picturing as you paint or draw this, someone else could see something totally different." So it's magic, you know. It's very inspirational to me that, you know, I could have one thought and one idea, and then someone else has a totally different one, and they both are right. Like, I'm not going to tell my son that he doesn't see clouds in the thing I painted. If he wants to see clouds, see clouds. And if someone else sees ocean and someone else just sees weird blotches on a canvas, that's cool too. So that's also ties into sponsorship, you know. I could do this one way with one sponsee and it works great. I do it with another sponsee. They're like, "This is effing dumb. I don't want to do this." Okay, then we work around it and we come up with something that works good for them. They see it going a different way. Who am I to say no? This is their recovery, right? This is their journey. This is their relationship with their higher power. So I invite them to talk to their higher power, come up with something that they feel like works. And then I go, "Cool, well, let's do that." So yeah, that's all I have to say about that today. So go have a wonderful, amazing, creative day, and I will see you tomorrow. Hey, thanks so much for being here today. You're my favorite. I'm so glad you came. I know life is busy, so I really do appreciate the time you're taking to do some self-care and hang out with me for a little bit. If something that we talked about today resonated with you and you want to dig a little deeper, I put together a 5-minute creative reset guide called Chaos to Calm that you can access in the show's description. And I would be so grateful if you'd subscribe and share this podcast with someone out there that you think could benefit from what we're creating here together. Also, remember, I am just sharing my experience, strength, and hope as I understand it here. So if bigger emotions come up, please take care of yourself and reach out to a licensed professional or someone that you trust for support. You are not alone in this. So until we create together again, please be kind to yourself and do something creative because you deserve it.